Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning, Lemonheads. So glad that you are here. Thank you for joining us. Boy, have we got a lot to cover today. There's a lot going on. We have breaking news and we have developing news. And who knows what we have in between. And in all of it, I'm going to take you, we're going to have a little church this morning because we're going to discuss what happened last night on ABC. And you're going to get it straight, no chasers, about the reaction so far from the so-called Christian turn the other cheek crowd, allegedly. So thank you for joining. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. It does affect the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation and our channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're closing in on 890,000. I think we've got like
we're closing in on 900.
Closing in on 900. Okay, 900,000, 890,000 or 900,000. Where are we now? 899 or something like that?
Yes, we are at 899. 899,640.
Not that we're counting.
Not that we're counting. Not for anything.
See, I got it wrong. Actually, I'm not counting. I just get the updates from you guys and from Tim and the social team. So thank you. And so if you please support the Lemon Nation, support independent media, right on MZ Bella LFG. Support your independent journalists. Hit that subscribe button. It's right there next to the comments, the big red button, and also become a member is important for our well-being here and for us to continue to be able to do what we do here on the Don Lemon Show. So are you guys ready for this? I'm gonna let me just start with the breaking news, okay? Because it's happened again, everybody. There has been a shooting. This is someone with a gun who should not have a gun. But remember, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Okay. It's true, but people use guns to kill people. And so I believe the people who are in possession of these weapons are people who should not have them. And I believe that the availability, the easy availability of acquiring one of these weapons, I think that's the problem here in America. So now this is a live update. So you're seeing it from, this is New York Times. 3 people shot at a Dallas ICE facility. The circumstances surrounding the shooting is not clear. Federal authorities said there were multiple injuries and fatalities here. The latest update is that 1 person was killed, 2 others wounded in a shooting at the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Facility. This is in Dallas, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It happened this morning. There are reports that 2 are dead. I don't have those reports. Can you guys just double check that for me, please? So at least 1 dead, possibly 2. 3 people were shot. The gunman was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's according to the Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem. So we'll have to double check that information because we're not exactly sure. It hasn't come from local authorities yet.
Don, if you look on the screen, I'm showing the Fox report, the live one. They say 2 detainees killed.
2 detainees killed. And this is a Fox report. Okay, so that's why I said check it. Thank you very much. So this is in Dallas. You're looking at the scene. This is a local Dallas Fox, Dallas Fort Worth Fox station that's covering this. And apparently now 2 people have died. The shooter is found dead. So maybe it's 1 and the shooter. Clarification.
No,
please.
it said 2 detainees. And
2 detainees and plus a shooter. Okay, thank you. So that's our breaking news that's happening this morning. And just so you know, just in true MAGA DEI hire style, their definition of DEI, Kristi Noem, who is the Homeland Security Secretary, tweeted about the multiple injuries and the shooter was found dead of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Okay. No sooner than that do we have Laura Loomer and J.D. Vance turning this into a political right versus left issue. Now, these were some of the same people who stood there on that podium in Dallas this weekend who had the nerve to say, forgive. And when the wife said forgive, and I don't know if anyone said take the temperature down, but this is J.D. Vance saying the obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and for their families. Now, this could very well be a targeted attack on law enforcement, but we don't know that at this point. The shooter, according to reports, is a white male who shot detainees, not law enforcement. So do we know that to be so? Here's what Laura Loomer is saying. Already, no information. The person who opened fire on ICE officials in Dallas, Texas today did so from the roof of a nearby immigration lawyer's office. The radical left strikes again. So again, we don't know who this person is, what it is. It could be whatever. We don't know. But at this point, is it necessary to do that? Unless you are clout chasing, unless you are blinded by ideology, unless you don't really give a damn about the actual thing that will help to stop this from happening again. In some weird way, do you get off on this? Is this like, do you get your jollies on this type of thing and then blaming people prematurely for what it is? And why can't you say, I'm praying for everyone who is involved there? We don't know the exact circumstances, but we'll see. How about that? How about have some couth? So we're going to continue to follow this. This is the breaking news that's coming out of Dallas, Texas. Now I want to turn to our other developing news. Did you guys watch Jimmy Kimmel last night, Lemon Nation? Did you watch? Brilliant. And I want to, in the same vein that I'm talking about what happened, and with the same clarity that I'm talking about what happened in Dallas, I want to talk this morning about Jimmy Kimmel, because I'm speaking to brothers and sisters, people who still believe that the truth matters in America, because there are a lot of folks who don't believe that the truth matters in America. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel, if you watched, he stood alone under the lights. You could feel the weight, the heaviness as he walked out. For someone who has been in a similar position when the spotlight is on you and everyone is coming after you, I don't think you can understand the weight of that moment. And for me, the tendency not to, as I'm talking, to cry or to lose it, because I am an emotional person and so is Jimmy. He's just a good guy. 6 days after Disney pulled him off the air, he came back. Not as the entertainer that they dismiss, not as the clown that they call him, but as a man who had been suspended and refused to stay silent. He stood there, he was vulnerable, voice trembling, and he told the truth. It's easy to be cynical about these things, but he stood there with his voice trembling and he told the truth. He named names boldly, without fear or favor. Brendan Carr, Donald Trump, he called them out by name. The station owners who bent the knee, or who for maybe obvious or not so obvious reasons needed to get their business done and were kissing up to the dear leader. He named them by name. But here's what you didn't see in the whole swaths of this country. You didn't see in large swaths of this country, they didn't get to see Jimmy Kimmel. Nexstar, Sinclair, two of the biggest station owners in America, more than a quarter of all ABC affiliates in the US, and they refused to air his return. Entire cities blacked out. Not one word, not one moment did they get to hear. Well, I'm sure they may have seen it online. They'll see the clips on news. They'll see them out of context on Fox News, and cable news, conservative media. They'll play it on the radio. They went dark. And then right on cue came the conservative media chorus, the podcast manosphere bros, the right wingers, the folks, the trolls who take to Twitter with every single thing and just sort of regurgitates talking points and their twisted, stilted ideology. The chorus of conservative media and critics defending Charlie Kirk, quoting the First Amendment, wrapping themselves in Christianity. When Jimmy Kimmel said, what I said wasn't about Charlie Kirk, it was about the reaction, the callous reaction to Charlie Kirk's untimely and awful death, unwarranted. They defended Charlie Kirk, quoting the First Amendment, wrapping themselves in Christianity. We talked about that yesterday. It's all wrapped in Christianity. If you wrap it in Christianity, then therefore you can't criticize it. And if you criticize it, then you don't know religion. You don't know God. You're not a believer. You're not a Christian. Bullshit. Bullshit. For all the criticism I got for what I said yesterday, for people who are saying that Don Lemon doesn't know Christianity, he doesn't understand this type of worship. He doesn't. Are you out of your mind? I grew up with that type of worship all the time. I know what religious nationalism is. I know what white nationalism wrapped in religious nationalism is. I'm from the deep South, baby. I've seen it all and I've experienced it all. And you cannot trick a tricker or fool a fooler. Do you think I don't know religion? Do you think I don't know Christianity? I was raised in a missionary Baptist church, going to Sunday school and church every weekend, twice a weekend. Sunrise service, then the evening service. And then during the week, I went to a Catholic school and I had catechism all week. So don't tell me I don't know Catholicism or Christianity or Southern Baptist or missionary or any of that. I know, and I studied with a Jehovah's Witness. Read my book. I'd read the entire Bible by the time I was in junior high school. So much so that I've probably forgotten more than most people will even read in the Bible. Meaning direct quotes in that, but I know what the Bible is. What they're doing, and they're wrapping themselves in Christianity, is they're pretending that this was about decency. It was about standards. This is decency. And that whole bullshit about we did this because it's about business. What does that mean? People fall for that shit. What does that mean? That is a catch-all to get people to stop criticizing a decision that you made as a company. The company doesn't make decisions. People make decisions. What's good for business is what you promote and who you stand by and who you stand behind. And if you stand behind the Constitution, then you should be okay. Pretending this was about decency and standards, but everyone can see what it really is. It's a movement defending its leader. It is a machine protecting its master, because we've seen this play before. This is not new to us. At this level, it is. But if you're, I mean, it's not new in the sense of McCarthy, because you got, Senator Joseph McCarthy, you got people now saying, even coming from the vice president, rat your coworker out. If you see someone doing this, tell the boss. What kind of shit is that? They take the words out of context. They mock the emotion. And they twist the meaning. They take Jimmy Kimmel's sound bites out of context and they make them mean what they want them to mean, the same way that they do with the scriptures, with the Bible, with religion, and with God. The same scriptures that they use to subjugate women, to enslave Black people, and to demonize immigrants. There are lots of immigrants in the Bible. They slap Bible verses on headlines while applauding the very politicians threatening the airwaves. Why? Because deep down they know that they are wrong. They know that they are wrong, and they are spinning, and they are spinning lies. But the habit of serving one man, Donald J. Trump, that outweighs the embarrassment of defending the indefensible. It was Trump's FCC appointee, Brendan Carr, who publicly hinted at license reviews for stations airing Jimmy Kimmel. That's on the record. That's documented. And the blackout that followed, that was station owners making a choice to obey, a choice to comply, and perhaps a choice to follow the money. Perhaps a choice to approve my $6 billion or so reportedly acquisition. A choice to obey, a choice to comply. So shame on these guys. Shame on them. Shame on you guys. Shame on the executives who cancel voices while quoting the First Amendment. Shame on the pundits who cheer censorship while preaching freedom. Freedom of speech. You don't know what freedom of speech is. Shame on the politicians who wrap themselves in Christianity while selling the country for 30 pieces of silver and a seat at the king's table. Jimmy Kimmel stood there last night. He was shaken, but unbowed. I would say unbothered, but I think this really bothered him too. I know what it's like to be taken out of context. I know what it's like to be misunderstood, to have your words misunderstood, and then have people capitalize on it. I know what it's like. That's a hurtful thing, especially when it is the opposite of your intention. He stood there last night. He was shaken, but unbowed. And in that moment, he showed more courage than the whole chorus of cowards who will spend today mocking him. Mark my words, they've already started to do it. Because here's the truth. Vulnerability scares them. Authenticity scares them. Truth scares them. They only know bluster. They only know attack. They only know submission to the strong man. That's all they know. They only know submission to the strong man who made them this way. So they mock it. They twist it. They pretend emotion disqualifies the point because they cannot bear to face what he said. That the blackout, the censorship, the billionaire owners, the politicians, and their lackeys, the whole machine is rotting democracy while waving the flag and then clutching the Bible at the same time because they think that makes it okay, because you cannot challenge that. If you wrap it in the flag and you wrap it in the Bible, then you can't challenge it. And if you challenge it, it's blasphemous. You're not a patriot. You're not a Christian. Bullshit. It is your patriotic duty to challenge it. It is your Christian duty to tell the truth, to fight for the least of these. I'm on David's side, not the Goliath. Because what do you call it when station owners decide that truths the public should hear, what truths the public should hear, and what they're allowed not to hear? What do you call that? When they get to decide what you hear and what you don't hear as Americans. When politicians threaten licenses because a comedian said words they didn't like. Comedian said words that hurt the feelings of a very tiny little man with a fragile ego. What does that say? From a comedian, that someone can't take a joke, as Jimmy Kimmel mentioned. When the richest man in media, men I should say in media, when the richest men in media sell silence to the highest bidder. That's not freedom. That's not faith to me. That is control. And make no mistake about it. When they tell you that it's about decency, about standards, about balance, they are lying. It is a fucking lie. Intentionally, the F word. It is a lie. It is about power and it's about obedience. Stay in your place. Jimmy Kimmel, stay in your place, boy. That's basically what they were saying. It's about defending the honor of one man. Even the whole Constitution has to be burned in order to do it. How do they sleep at night? How do they look at themselves in the mirror? How do you do that? How do you do that? I don't know. I couldn't do that. Not for all the money in the world. So this morning on this program, and always on this program, always, no matter where I am, no matter what platform I'm on, I am going to hold up a mirror. We hold up the mirror to Nexstar, to Sinclair, to the politicians, to the pundits, to the billionaires and the preachers and the whole chorus of hypocrites. Look at yourselves. Because the day that you stay silent for someone else's silence is the day that you invite your own. Is the day that you invite yourself to be silenced and to be canceled. Jimmy Kimmel got his mic back. But in cities all across America, the silence remained. So today we speak. Today you should speak. And I want you to hear me now. This is an energy that we all need, that you need moving forward. Fear not. Because the reason they threaten and blackout and smear and mock is because they are afraid of you. Afraid because they know that you have the power to turn the dial. The power to say, turn the TV off. The power to cancel subscriptions, to walk away from corporate and government control voices, to choose independent platforms that don't bend when power leans on them. They know it, that you have the power. Because their money is your money. Their platform survives only because you give them life. Without you, there would be no platform like that. And you can take it back. Their voice should never, ever, ever be your voice. Your voice is yours alone. And here's the truth that they don't want you to hear. You can actually silence them. You can cut their mics. You can shrink their platforms until they are begging for the audience they took for granted. There are more of you than there are of them. Money talks, but only when you decide where it speaks. Did you hear what y'all didn't hear that, did you? I'm going to say it louder for the people in the back. Money talks, but only when you decide where it speaks. So again, fear not, because the moment you stop feeding the beast starves. The lights are on right now on all of us. The mic is live. It's a hot mic right now. And to every last one of them, we will not shut up, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You're going to hear from Jimmy Kimmel after a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Ollie. You know these guys, Boomer, Barkley, Gus, they run this house. And let me tell you, if my dogs could talk, they would beg for Ollie. The tail wags, the excited little hops, the big goofy grins. That's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the picky eaters like these guys. We're talking human-grade ingredients made in U.S. kitchens. No fillers, no preservatives, just real food. And you can see the difference. More energy, shinier coats, healthy digestion, and yes, happier pups. Boomer's favorite? The fresh turkey with blueberries. Barkley goes for the beef with sweet potatoes, and Gus likes all of it. So honestly, look at their bowls sometimes, and when I do, I think, well, these dogs are eating better than I am, I think. So here's how it works. You fill out a 30-second quiz about your dog's weight, activity, and health needs. Ollie creates a custom meal plan, and they're the only fresh dog food brand offering unlimited routine health screening. So go to ollie.com/lemon, use the code LEMON, and get 60% off your first box with a happiness guarantee. That's OLLIE.com/lemon. Support for the Don Lemon Show also comes from Lean. You know, fad diets, juice cleanses, cabbage soup, all of it. You know about it. You lose the weight and then you gain it back, plus a little more. Well, doctors call that weight cycling, and half of Americans do it. It puts strain on your heart, on your liver, on everything, right? In your back. It's nuts. So that's where Lean comes in. It is a non-prescription oral supplement created by doctors, not one of those injectables that everyone is talking about right now. Lean targets weight loss in 3 powerful ways, okay? So it helps keep blood sugar stable. It helps control appetite and cravings. It also helps to burn fat by turning it into energy so you can lose weight at a healthy pace and keep it off. And if you have been frustrated by the lose, gain, lose cycle, and lose it and then I gain it back, you're not alone. Lean can help you break that cycle. So go to takelean.com/lemon and get 20% off today. That's TAKELEAN.com/lemon. The code is lemon for 20% off. All right. Thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate it. Now back to the program. Let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Jimmy Kimmel, as I said, walked out and you could feel the weight and the heaviness. Here he is last night, and then we will go through it and show you the evidence of what I just said before we heard from the sponsors. Here it is.
Thank you.
That was Jimmy Kimmel, and what
a
a standing ovation. And he made a joke. He pointed out, saying, oh, you know, what Donald Trump has been tweeting about him, he has no ratings and blah, 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 blah. He goes, well, I do tonight. And he sure did. Because according to media reporters who put this up, 7 million people viewed him on YouTube just last night. Nearly 7 million views for ABC's official YouTube video of Kimmel's 28-minute monologue overnight. It's already the most viewed Kimmel clip of the year on YouTube. Here's the thing. If he continues in that, he will be more successful as an independent person than perhaps being on, or just in digital than being on linear television. I'm sure the linear ratings were great in the places where he aired, and I'm sure people tuned in and will tune in and click on that in the places where he didn't. They cannot silence him. They cannot shut him up, nor can they shut you up. Jimmy Kimmel last night addressing Donald Trump and the decision to take him off. Here it is.
Fortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this because he's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists, too. He's suing them. He's bullying them over the week.
He doesn't care about the people who work there. He doesn't care at all about the people who work there. He doesn't care about freedom of speech. What he cares about is his fragile ego. He also went in on Brendan Carr. And he was not afraid because Brendan Carr is the head of the FCC. Brendan Carr has been out speaking about Jimmy Kimmel and what the stations, what ABC owes the public, and they have a license and all that bullshit that he used, and then got in trouble and tried to walk it back. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't afraid to call him out last night.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing Carr Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something. The FCC has a tradition of meddling where they shouldn't under many administrations, but it wasn't always like this. There was an FCC commissioner back in 2022 who worked under Joe Biden, who was spot on. He wrote, President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. You know who wrote that? FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, who later was appointed chairman of the FCC by this former crusader.
Now pause this. This is where I love it because he is showing the evidence. He's giving the evidence and he's pointing out the hypocrisy here. This isn't about anything that they say it is. This is about appeasing the king, about protecting the tiny ego. Excuse me, not tiny ego, the fragile ego of the child king. More of Jimmy.
Speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight. Thank you.
All right. There we go. Thank you. That's enough. Good for you, Jimmy. Good for you. And true class. Jimmy, I'm not sure if do we have the clip where he talked about Charlie Kirk's widow? If you can find that, Andy, let me know. But he was truly classy. And he said, I don't know what you guys are talking about, because when this happened, I tweeted out to his widow and just so to everyone, saying how sorry he was. It was pretty close to the beginning when he said this, how sorry he was for what happened. It should not have happened. But then to have this twisted I can understand why he was so upset about it. Do we have that part, Andy? If not,
just 1 second.
Okay. While Andy finds that. And I thought that was a very classy move. a lot of folks thought he wasn't going to mention any of that. A lot of folks also thought that he was going to apologize. There was at one point where I thought that, oh, is he about to apologize? And he didn't. Basically, what he was doing was saying, I understand how some people may have taken this out of context. I get it. But he never said, I'm sorry for saying it. Because actually what Jimmy Kimmel said was not factual. It was facts. The weekend, MAGA spent the weekend trying to make the shooter into anything but them. He never said that he was one. And this was before all the information came out. So it wasn't non-factual. And he made fun of Donald Trump's flippant and callous response to a reporter saying, how are you doing? How are you feeling after the death of your friend, Charlie Kirk? And he said, oh, I'm okay. Look at our beautiful ballroom. Donald Trump didn't like that. This, I thought, was a very classy moment from him. He had a couple. Here it is.
Over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, and not this. So thank you for listening, and I'll have more to say when we come back.
That's a man right there. And I'm glad he said all of that stuff. I'm also glad that he had this moment where he talked about folks that he rarely agrees with, folks who consider him the enemy. He actually thanked them in a classy moment. Here it is.
Maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
what you
we
can
don't
and can't
like
say
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. This affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks.
Yeah, amen. So thank you for that, Jimmy. And I've spoken about all the critics and what they're going to say and how they're responding, and they will say, oh my gosh, he was acting and he should have apologized or whatever. I thought he handled it perfectly. I really did. Donald Trump, though, is out here making claims that no one had heard about. I don't know if they're fake. I don't know. But Donald Trump is saying explicitly, he is calling out Disney and saying, well, I thought you were going to fire him. This is a threat to Disney. But before we put that up, can we just play all of the folks who are out here responding about, you know, how this is a business decision? Can we play that?
I've never heard them care about the Constitution so much. Their First Amendment. This has nothing to do with the First Amendment. This has to do with the business decision, as you noted.
So the decision to suspend and I suspect eventually cancel Kimmel is a business decision by ABC.
But similar to Kimmel, he's getting the boot because, well, he was just bad for business.
You can like or not like Disney's decision on Kimmel. But until I see proof of actual government coercion of their decision, this is about Disney making a business decision about its brand.
Yeah, that was obviously a business decision, as evidenced by the fact they're going to reinstate him. I think he's going to be on the air later tonight. So I think it was a business decision.
And if ABC wants to suspend you because you got wrong the assassin of Charlie Kirk, more power to them. That's got nothing to do with the First Amendment. That's a business decision.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay, so let me tell you guys, I know about this whole business decision. I've lived the business decision. I'm in independent media because of the business decision where they don't really tell you. It's just a business decision. Well, what happened? Why did you do that? It was a business decision. What does that mean? When people say that, ask them. Can we have some real journalism here? Ask them what that means. It's a business decision. And if it's indeed a business decision, then explain how it is good or bad for business. The business decision is that they don't like Jimmy Kimmel and they wanted to get rid of it. The business decision is that they don't like someone and they want to get rid of them. And so they come up with a predicate to fire them, and then they say it was a business decision. It is bullshit. It means nothing. That's like when someone says, I got to break up with you. Why? It's not you, it's me. Well, what does that mean? Business decision is bullshit. That's how companies get rid of things, get rid of people. That's how companies fire women for being too old that they deem, but it's a business decision. They will never tell you why. That's why they fire men they think are too old. It's a business decision. They'll tell you why. That's how they fire black people who they're like, oh my God, we can't get rid of them. But we'll just say it's a business decision. It's hard to get rid of a black person. It's hard to get rid of a gay person. It's a business decision. What the fuck does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. It is a lie. It's just a saying. It's a coverall, a catch-all. Now, I could go through that video and just, can we start with Kaylee? Just play that again. Let's just play this again.
I've never heard them care about the Constitution so much. Their First Amendment. This has nothing to do with the First Amendment.
Okay. I won't go there. I used to work with Kaylee McEnany. I know her. Kaylee. I won't do. Let's see who else. Let's see.
This has to do with the business decision, as you noted.
So the decision to suspend and I suspect eventually cancel Kimmel is a business decision by ABC.
I've only interviewed him.
But similar to Kimmel, he's getting the boot because, well, he was just bad for business.
You can like or not like Disney's decision on Kimmel. But until I see proof of actual government coercion of their decision, this is about Disney making a business decision.
If anybody should know the business decision line, is him. I mean, I thought, didn't he file a lawsuit over a business decision? Fast forward.
Yeah, that was obviously a business decision, as evidenced by the fact they're going to reinstate him. I think he's going to be on the air later tonight.
It would be a business decision for Jim Jordan to go find his jacket. That would make some good business. Keep going.
I think it was a business decision.
And if ABC wants to suspend you,
Trey Gowdy he gets it right at least twice a day. Keep going.
Got wrong the assassin of Charlie Kirk, more power to them. That's got nothing to do with the First Amendment. That's a business decision.
I've said too much. No, I did. I mean, come on now. Sometimes it's just like, come on, people, you see yourself. The people who like twist themselves into a pretzel to try to make something make sense that makes no sense. What's the saying? Well, some people say I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. More where this came from after a word from our sponsor. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Mint Mobile. Do you procrastinate? I did. I kept paying big wireless way too much until I heard about Mint Mobile. Now I pay just $15 a month, and right now they've got 50% off unlimited premium wireless for new customers, okay? Same network, same speed, same reliability as the big guys, just smarter. My team uses it, and the quality is crystal clear, unlimited data, no headaches. It's easy. Keep your phone, keep your number, bring your contacts, and pay $15 a month for 3 months of unlimited premium wireless. Don't wait like I did. Head to mintmobile.com/DonLemon and start saving today. That's mintmobile.com/DonLemon. Support comes from BetterHelp. We've all done it, looking for advice from the group chat or anyone, some random stranger in public. But when it comes to real help, relationships, stress, anxiety, you need more than small talk. That's why I've used therapy, and that's why I like BetterHelp. It's online, it's private, and they do the work to match you with a licensed therapist who fits your needs. Over 30,000 therapists, 5 million people served. It is the largest online therapy platform in the world, and you can message, call, or video chat all from home on your schedule. And if it is not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time. You can find more balance, less stress, and someone who really gets it. Visit betterhelp.com/DonLemon for 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We appreciate it. Okay, so now let's get back to this whole idea of a business decision. And so these people come out and they support Donald Trump. They kiss his butt. They bend the knee. Oh, you're so great or whatever. I don't know. This companies that can do that. Everyone knows why these companies are doing it. Okay. And so perhaps they're in situations where they work for said companies or said companies that have the same sort of ideology. So they have to, this is their way to kiss up. I don't know what's going on here, but well, I know what's going on. It's obvious. This is what Donald Trump said, which really contradicts everything that they said. He always does it. He comes out and he contradicts them. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly? Blah, 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 blah. So just keep going. And then he goes on to talk about Democrats and it's garbage and gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. It sounds to me this is threatening. It sounds like he's threatening ABC. I would take this as a threat. And then it also sounds to me like it's not a business decision, it's a personal decision. So he's completely contradicting all of those business decision folks who said it's that was some legitimate excuse. Crazy. Well, you've heard the news today. There's much more where that came from. But I'll have to give it to you at 5 o'clock for Lemon Live at 5. So if you want to know anything about the Don Show, but before we go there, before we go to anything about Don Show, let me just say this to you guys. When I said that you have the power, you truly do have the power. I'm going to put this up. Put up the website. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, go to donlemon.com. You can get us our main YouTube show. Our Substack is there. All of the other places where we stream, all there, and our merch store there as well. And if you click on the YouTube, you can subscribe, you can join, all of that. If you click on the merch, you can go and do that. You guys wanted the merch. So you asked for it, you got it. I didn't want to do it, but it's selling. And if you love it, I love seeing you. And I'll show you some of the photos of the folks wearing it who are part of the Lemon Nation later on today. Let me just leave you with this, though. I'm going to leave you with something that you can take forward in your day. The power isn't in the billionaire boardrooms. It isn't in the politicians' pockets. It's in your hands, people. You decide what voices rise. You decide what platforms live. You decide when enough is enough, because a microphone is only as loud as the people who choose to listen. So choose carefully. Choose courage. Choose truth. And I say together, fear not, because we are louder than they will ever be. And here is your choice. I say it every day before this happened. This is just my mantra, because I want you to be informed without being inundated. I don't want you to go around being enraged all day. So in order to be informed without being inundated, make sure you join us at 5 o'clock for Lemon Live at 5. And until then, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you